Hello, 7Es, receiving students and teachers. Thank you. You may be seated. 7Es and receiving students. In our previous lesson, we looked at function machines. Okay. Now, I would like all of you to look at the screen. I have got an example to show you which we have gone through in our previous lesson. On the screen you can see a function machine showing the functions of the multiples or multiplying by 3. 7Es and receiving students, how many inputs are there? Emmanuel, can you tell us how many inputs are there on the screen?
4.
4. Very good. And the part where it shows you the mixing place, or we call that the main part of the function machine, the rule there is multiply by 3. So all those inputs are to be multiplied by 3. And the outputs, what is the first output? 1 times 3 is equals to? 3. 2 times 3 is equals to? 6. 3 times 3 is equals to? 9. 4 times 3 is equals to? 12. Okay, those are all the inputs being multiplied by what? Number 3. Very good. Now, 7Es and receiving students, let's look at the whiteboard. You can show more than one input and output using a mapping diagram. When I say mapping diagram, some of you might be wondering, how does a mapping diagram look like? Now on the whiteboard, I've got a diagram of a mapping diagram, which I am going to explain to you how it has been drawn. Now, this is how a mapping diagram looks like. Again, you can show more than one input, more than one output on a mapping diagram. A mapping diagram is number lines. Have you heard about number lines? Yes. Okay. Now, this is how it is done. I am going to use the example on the function machine multiplying by 3, and I'll transfer that information onto the mapping diagram. So it will look like this. Now, firstly, the first number line drawn is for the input. Okay? All the numbers that will go into the function machine under input as a number line drawn. Okay? From 0 up to 12. Okay? Now, the second number line is for the what? Output. Again, same, we'll number it from 0 up to 12. Now, you have seen the function machine on multiplying by 3, and you had all your inputs, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Is it true? They are on the input number line, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Is that clear? On the function machine under input, you have the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the mapping diagram, it is drawn on the number line, where input, under input, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that clear? Now, the output. All these numbers are going to be multiplied by 3. So, 3 times 1 is equals to, the output number line will show you where the 3 is. So you see, from input number 1 times 3 will give you the output number line, you have 3. Is that clear? Yes. Again, I am just showing you how it can be done on a mapping diagram, from a function machine to a mapping diagram. So, next number, 2. Number 2, 2 times 3 is equals to 6. Can you see that? 3 times 3 is equals to 9. 4 times 3 is equals to 12. So can you see the relationship between a mapping diagram and a function machine? How it has been drawn. Okay? From a function machine, all the information have been put under a mapping diagram. The only difference is they have number lines like this drawn for the input. The first thing is input, and then another number line drawn for what? Output. Okay? All the numbers from the input are written on the top, and all the numbers for output are written at the bottom. So, the example I gave was multiplying by 3. So any input that multiplies with the function rule, which is multiplied by 3, for example this one, 1 times 3 will give you the output 3. 2 times 3 will give you, 3 times 3 will give you, 4 times 3 will give you 12. It goes on, but we stop at the input. How many inputs? 4. So our output will stop at which number? 12. Can you see that? That's mapping diagram. Okay, 70s and receiving students, we are going to move on to our next topic, which is on finding the function. Class, in today's lesson, we are going to do some sort of puzzle work, meaning that we will have our function machine shown, but there are some functions on the function machine that will be not shown. Now, I would like you to look at the whiteboard on the diagram which we have gone through in our previous lesson called the function machine. Okay, 70s and receiving students, all sit up straight. I will explain something to you. 70s, I will go through the parts of the machine again, and I would like you to listen carefully to each of the parts once more. Receiving students, you can do the same as well. Now, 70s, the first part of the function machine, it is known as the inputs. This is where all the numbers that will go into the machine. Now, the middle part here, in our previous lesson, I've told you that this is the place for mixing. Now, this part is more or less known as the function rules home base. This is the place where the rule is located. Now, this place is where all the 4 operations. Do you know all your 4 operations? What are they? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. This part of the machine will determine the outcome. Okay? For example, if I have 1 and I am asking you add 2. If the input is 1 and the rule here says add 2, what will be the answer? Is the answer 2? 70s and receiving students, is the answer 2? No. Why? Can somebody explain to me why the answer is not 2? Can somebody explain to me? Receiving students, you can explain to your teacher. 70s, who would like to explain to us why the answer is not 2? Hands up. John, can you tell us?
Because 1 plus 2 equals 3.
Very good. Because 1 plus 2 equals 3. Okay? The answer will be 3, not 2. 7 is and receiving students. That's why this part is the place where the rule is applied. It's not saying multiplication. It's not saying division. It's not saying subtraction. It is saying add 2. So this is the rule. You are going to add 1 plus 2 will give you 3. So this is the place where the rule is. So that's the reason why function machine is known as the rule. Is that clear? That's the reason why function machine is known as the rule, because the place where the mixing takes place, or this part, is called the function rule. Function rule place, where any input comes, it must obey or follow what is in this room here. Is that clear, receiving students and 7Es? Okay, good. Thank you. Now, 7Es and receiving students, for today's lesson, our topic was finding the function. Have a look at the whiteboard. Finding the function simply means when you look at the function machine, there will be something missing. For example, now head 2, and I will place instead of the input, I will place the output. What is missing from the function machine? What is missing? Is it the output or what? Input. So what is the input? 2. Can somebody explain to us how did you get the answer 2? Alan, how did you get the answer 2? Tony?
2 times 2 equals 4.
2 times 2 equals? 2 times 2 equals 4. Remember, this was not shown. And all of you said that the answer was 2. How did you get the answer 2? How did you get the answer 2? Angeline, sorry. How did you get the answer 2?
Because 4 minus 2 is 2.
Very good. You see? That's how she got the answer 2. She's correct by saying 4 minus 2 is 2. Can you see that? It's the opposite now. Because there was no input. If I remove number 4, then you will say 2 plus 2 equals 4. But the input 2 was removed, so opposite of adding is subtract. So you subtract 4 minus 2 is equals to 2. 7Es and receiving students, can you get the idea now? Yes. Now we are going to practice by doing some more exercises based on finding the functions. Class, remember, it doesn't matter how many function machines are shown. If there are 2 function machines and there's a function machine, still the same rule applies. Is that clear? Yes. Okay, let's move on to our exercises. To the receiving students, the exercise will be shown on the screen. 7 is the answers, sorry, the exercise will be also shown on the screen, and also they are in your student workbooks. To the receiving teacher, please make sure the students are working in the small groups to do these following exercises. Let's look at the screen, class. The first exercise, it says for each of these function machines, work out the inputs for the outputs. The output is given, the input is not given, so you find it out. So exercise A is on the screen now. You can work in pairs or in your small groups. You can start now. Okay, 77 students, exercise B is on the screen. Class, for exercise 2, you are going to find the 3 pairs of inputs, in these function machines you are given 3 pairs of inputs and outputs. You find the function, the main part, the rule there, you have to find the function rule. Is it addition? Is it subtraction? Is it multiplication or division? So exercise 2A is on the screen. Class, exercise B is on the screen again. That will be the last exercise. As soon as you finish, you sit up straight and we'll correct the exercise. 70s and receiving students, all sit up straight. Let's go through the answers. To the receiving teacher, please, as we go through the answers, make sure you assist your students by writing the answers down as well on the blackboard. 70s, all sit up straight. This is how we are going to answer the exercise. I am going to select a student from a group, and he or she will come up and write his or her answer on the whiteboard. Is that clear, 70s? To the receiving students, you can do the same. To the receiving teacher, you can select the students who go to the front to give the answers. Class, who would like to do the first exercise? A. Hands up. Okay, JJ's group. Write your answer on the board. While he is writing his answer on the board, the others, you cross-check your answer with your friend's answer if they are correct, and we'll go through the answer together. Okay, JJ, any of your group members? Okay, one of your group member will put down the answer for you. The others watching? Okay. Seven is, let's look at the first answer. JJ's group says the answer is 3. Class, do you all agree with that? Yes. The answer is 3? Yes? Yes. Okay, very good. So 3 plus 6 is equals to 9. Yes, correct. Give yourselves a tick. Exercise B. Glenda. The others, sit down and see what Glenda is writing. Glenda, before you go and sit down, can you explain to the class the answer? How you got your answer? Okay, the others listen.
2 times 2 equals 4 plus 1 equals 5.
She says 2 times 2, Glenda. 2 times 2 equals 4 plus Glenda plus 1 equals 5. 7 is in receiving students. Is she correct? Yes. Okay, very good. Thank you, Glenda. Give her 2 big claps. Okay, good. Now, exercise 2. 7 is and receiving students. Exercise 2 is different. We are going to find the function. Exercise 1, we were looking for the input. Exercise 2, we are going to look for the function. Okay, Anjali, your group, what is the function missing in exercise 2A? The other group, you stand by for exercise B. Win, your group? Okay. Is the answer correct? Times 3. Okay, 1 times 3 equals? 3. 7 is 1 times 3 equals? 3. 2 times 3 equals? 6. 3 times 3 equals? 9. So they are correct. Okay, good. The last one. Wins group. Subtract by 8. Is it correct? Yes. Let's check. 12 subtract 8 gives you 4. 15 subtract 8 gives you 7. 22 subtract 8 gives you 14. So it's correct. 7 is and receiving students. I hope all of you have got the answers which are on the whiteboard which we have gone through. With that, You give yourself 5 big claps. Okay, sit up straight. Class, for today's lesson, we were looking at finding the function. By now, you should know how to find a function in a function machine, whether the input is missing, or the function rule is missing, or the output is missing. It is easier for you to find out by applying the steps and methods in the 4 operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. With that, 70s and receiving students, our key phrase for today's lesson is function, and our next lesson will be on functions and algebra. Thank you very much, 70s and receiving students and teachers, for your participation in today's lesson.